I view it as very positive for cities because when you talk about some of the devastation that has occurred in cities and the neglect that have occurred over decades, it's essential. What is important is that we recognize that it's not just in certain parts of the city that we need tax incremental financing, and that we also make sure that we're employing some of our people who live in our city when we're doing these tax incremental financing projects, because after all, these are monies being provided by the citizens of Baltimore. So I'm excited. I've been down to the project over there that Under Armour, I call it Under Armour, Kevin Plank is working on with Sagamore Farms. I think it's going to be fantastic. In fact, one of the things that they're looking at is putting a model of the transportation system that I'm talking about, the fast trains above ground. So again, I think it offers opportunity. What's the key for us is making sure that we get people in our city employed in some of these opportunities, and that we look at other parts of our city that need tax incremental financing and make it in such a way that it's attractive to developers to want to do some of the things that need to be done in other parts of our city. For example, when I'm looking at the demolition money that could possibly come to the city, some of those properties may not need to be demolished, but they do need to be redeveloped. So how do we employ it in such a way that people are attracted to creating new communities in our city? When I talked a little bit earlier about the fastest growing populations in our city, we're not building senior living communities in our city. Most of the senior living communities in our city are high-rise buildings, but when I look at what I call new age development in other cities, when I was in North Carolina, and you've got these beautiful senior living communities where people can come out and walk around, and they've got drugstores and supermarkets. I mean, those are the kinds of things that I think would attract a developer. But the vision has to come from somewhere. But the infusion and the collective behavior of people in our city, business communities and neighborhoods, have to interact so that we can create the kind of city that I think will be a 21st century city in the future. The question being, do I view downtown development as a negative towards what needs to be done in our neighborhoods? And I would say no. Because when you think about what downtown development has done for our city in terms of employment, hospitality industry has grown, convention industry has grown. That's important, but it is important to balance, development in downtown with development that needs to take place in communities. And that's why when I talk about my retail strategy, I think it's important because it is inclusive of the neighborhoods and the communities. But, again, what's to say that you can't put a manufacturing plant somewhere up in Sandtown that somebody might want to build and operate? What kind of financing is that going to take? Is that tax incremental financing? Is that investments by business community leaders to make those kinds of things happen? I don't think this is an either or. I think it's us collectively working together and defining what it is the city needs in order to move forward.